now?
Yes.
We can hear all of us with on the same speaker. Oh my god. Okay. I will lower down my mic.
Let me verify that.
Okay. Can we hear? Everyone's on mute. Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
There we go.
Good morning. Morning.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Thank you. Okay. Let me call this, today is the Guahan Academy Charter School Board of Trustees regular board meeting. It is now 11:13. Sorry, I'm a little bit tardy. Today is Thursday, January 20th, 2022. I call this meeting to order at 11:13. Roll call, Trustee Hevla. Is he in?
Yes.
Trustee Hevla?
He's here.
No?
Yeah, he's there.
Trustee Millie. Trustee Arquiza? Unmute, please.
Unmute.
Unmute because we're being recorded.
Unmute.
Oh, okay, right here. Present.
Thank you, Trustee Arquiza. Trustee Mill, good morning.
Hi,
Good morning.
Okay, who else? Trustee Rosie?
Here. Good morning.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Evlock, I know he had sent an excuse
No, she's there.
WhatsApp saying he will be off island or going on their quarantine. Is that accurate?
He's here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a quorum. Okay,
Mr.
thank you
Vidal?
very much. Did everybody read the minutes of December 21? I need a motion to approve the minutes of Tuesday, December 21, 2021. Motion to approve.
I still move.
Second, please. I need a second.
I second it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Block.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Trustee Rosie, have a motion, and seconded by Trustee Avalak. Thank you. Any discussion? I need a vote, please.
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah, they're colorful today. I'm a little apricot today.
I. No one is in.
I'm in the jungle right now. I actually have to move my computer at home. Okay, first item on the agenda. We have the motion
Want to make sure that we form.
Can you just be quiet? We are getting a lot of. Thank you. First item on the agenda, calendar. I believe that is for the acting CEO, Miss Eche. What's calendar?
Hey,
Who's
can you help?
who's going to discuss the calendar for 2022-23 online and etc.
Yeah.
Will that be the acting CEO?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning,
Go
everyone.
ahead.
everyone.
Happy
Good
Thursday.
morning.
I just wanted to put it out there that we need to start planning the school calendar for 22-23 because we have parents calling about when they're going to start the school year because some are anticipating going off island, so they want to be here to plan to make sure that they're here on the first day of school. So I just I just put down online face-to-face and then possibly 100% face-to-face because again it makes a difference when we make the calendar. We need to know how are we going to go about this with the modes of learning.
Okay, yeah. Could you hold on a minute? Miss Badette, can you unmute yourself? Can you tell me when the council is coming in? Is Attorney Terlay on standby or she can go in
She's
now?
already. Tell her she's there. She's there already, ma'am.
Okay, can we just have the floor? Can we open the floor for the Attorney Terlay, if you don't mind, Miss Echay? Is that
Sure.
okay?
Sure.
Actually, Madam Chairperson, I was scheduled to discuss issues with the trustees on executive session. So I
Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start planning for the two different modes, and then I'll go ahead and present it at our next meeting, just to prepare, because as of right now, again, it's unpredictable. You know, with the news last night that already the private schools are shutting down again and going full online, so I just wanted to let everybody know that we need to plan for the new school year calendar.
Yeah, as you plan those, can we just be a little bit more open into what the executive office is requiring for us to go on a certain on a certain classroom face-to-face mode or other thing? But let's just be guided with both public health, CDC, and executive office on making sure that our classes are safe. Also, don't forget the feedback from the parents. I think
Yes.
it's very important because I understand that some of the parents are for it and some of them are against it. So let's make sure that the surveys are completed prior to scheduling any of the either we go hybrid or 100% face to face. Would that be okay, Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
I wanted to go ahead and present also the National Charter School Week. The other charter schools got together. It was initiated by Dr. Juan Flores, and he wanted us to all come together as charter schools to celebrate this particular week. Already one of the other members secured the Micronesian Mall for Saturday, May 7th, where we can showcase our schools. We could have, several tables for Guahan, for iLearn, for SIFA, and for the career tech. And we've met already twice, and we just wanted to let everybody know that this is it's just around the corner. We're almost ending already January, and we want to make everybody know that on Saturday, May 7th is the day that we like everybody to just put it in their calendar, so they'll know that we're going to be showcasing our school, our students with performances, with their work on our tables.
Okay. Let's just make sure that the calendars of activities for that day will have to be known to the Board of Trustees so we can all participate and at least be there to support the National Charter Week. Just keep us posted with meetings that you guys are having with the other charter school. We will appreciate that so we can at least support anything that will be required for us as trustees, especially the attendance. So
Yes.
that would be good.
Yeah.
Very good, because we didn't have one last year.
Yes, one of the other things that we discussed is that it would be nice to have our own video clip, of activities that we have with our students, and also to have our Board of Trustees, just come in and give a message, what's going on and, supporting this particular activity.
Sure.
Okay.
And also, I think showcasing also what we have facility-wise, right?
Yes.
So we can, at least know that, as far as like compliance and stuff like that. But yeah, showcase the school, and I think we have a lot to show and share. Thank you, Ms. Eche.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
This National Charter School Conference in Washington, D.C. from June 19th to the 22nd, it was brought up by iLearn, Ms. Helen Nishihara, and she said that she touched bases with Mr. Ike Santos from GDOE, and he said that that's something that's allowable, and she wanted to know whether we were all, we could all attend as a charter school. So that's the date that she gave. I think that we need to come together and write a memo coming from the entire charter school organization to say that we're in support of that.
I suggest that you personally call Mr. Ike Santos and express how you feel about, who or you attending the conference, just to confirm that, because sometimes information gets distorted or changed. So I suggest that you personally, have a conversation with him just to get support. But I think the letter writing from all of the charter schools would also be beneficial. Those conferences are great.
Yes.
You learn from other charter schools and build a networking capacity to be able to communicate with one another with the media.
Yes.
Please do
I'd
that.
like to get some detail on the schedule of the conference as well, and I think Trustee Lou is correct. You know, the one-on-one personal call for Mr. Ike is always appreciated by that gentleman. So let's do it, and I know I have I know Trustee Arquiza, Trustee Rosie, that will be there also pushing and supporting this. So yeah,
Yes.
let's give up for this, and let's go and get this conference
Yes.
going for the charter school.
Miss Helen said that she attended it in 2019, and I think she attended a virtual one last year. And she said that she brought her team 2 years ago. She brought her team leaders and everything. So that's something that she had that brief conversation with Mr. Ike, that he's in support of that. So yes, I will personally give him a call and just let him know our interest in that. Thank you.
The important thing here is you should be able to identify really the people that needs to get to go into this conference.
Yes,
And
the team leaders.
You know, if this could be virtual, all the more the better, because we can pay for the conference fee, but then it could be shared virtually by a lot of our members, or by some of our key staff. That would be really wonderful. I will hope they do. They adapt the same mode that we don't have to go there personally, but they could be shared virtually. And a lot of these national conferences are happening that way. So you pay for the conference fee, but you're able to share it through virtual mode.
Attendance, yeah.
And more inclusive. You get to get more people to participate. Yeah, that would be good. Just keep us posted, please. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Nifty?
Yes, the team completed the Christmas training, and they're so excited, you know, about all the new information, fresh ideas, techniques of how to deliver our DI program. So we're going to be presenting that to our faculty and staff tomorrow during our faculty meeting and domain meeting. So Dr. Salter, who was the presenter, said that there's upcoming trainings that she will be in touch with us. So we're not gonna wait, you know, for the spring training. We're not gonna wait for summer. If there's something that's coming up in the next few weeks, she's going to contact us, and we're gonna try to get our team again included.
Yes, I like that. So you would be always on track on what's happening with NIFTY, because we have kind of lost it for the past 2 years. So nice to be able to get an up-to-date, maybe you can get a list of up-to-date conferences and training, especially training that they could share with us, and use it to our advantage as far as, like, you know, scheduling some of our key people to attend these conferences. Unfortunately, they should have already an annual schedule for training. So
Yes.
Pick and choose what applies to us, right?
They already have one in June, I believe, but mini trainings like they provided for us in December is something that we are looking forward to also.
So we'll just include more people this time. If
Yes.
you go in, the ones who did not go for the last Christmas training, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, I guess that's about it on the calendar. Again, back to you, CEO. You have the floor again on old business, federal grant, ARP.
Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and defer this to Ms. Jamie and Ms. Ann for the
Yes,
ASF2 and the ARP.
Yes, go ahead. Ms. Jamie?
Ms.
Good
Jamie?
morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hi,
Good morning. Thank you to Ms. Jamie for always keeping our worksheet updated. So we share the spreadsheet with each other as a Google sheet. That way is updated every time. It's real time, ongoing, rather than exchanging or saving as. So Ms. Cadet, being the person who needs to know where we're at, monitors the spreadsheet as well. Ms. Jamie has been doing a very good job of updating it, and then we help each other. So when we receive the supplies and equipment provided to us, when they are delivered, we also update it in the notes. But as of today, from the total approved ESF2 budget, which is 2.75 million, the total requisitions which were already all inputted is hold on. Totals is, where is that, Miss Lee? So everything is 203, I believe. Pending requisitions that were already converted to PO is 716,168. And we have divided it into equipment, supplies, and contracts. We received most of the equipment already. So basically, the balance is 1.1 million for the remaining that we need to that needs to be converted to PO.
Okay, do we have a deadline to be able to use up all the ESF funding on the remaining balance?
Yes, we do have a deadline till September. But what we're doing right now is we're inputting everything in, keying in everything. We just don't release it if it doesn't have the actual documentation yet. But at least we have keyed them in so that Miss Jamie will have to just release the funds when everything, all the documentations, the dons are included. Out of those, we keyed in the most important equipment that we need so that we can open up or we're ready for face-to-face. The main two things would be the equipment because FPD tracks and monitors where it goes and it's considered their property. So we have that in place as well for accountability. And just to give you an update, just 2 days ago, January 18th, we already submitted to them the survey report that is done quarterly, and from there they update the system. And then from that point, just as an update for the instructional supplies, amount in requisition is already 188,574. And amount in purchase order, which is converted, is already 169,725. So, which is good because everything is already mostly converted, 90% converted to PO. For the PPE, personal equipment, which includes the air filters, we already have 108,000 in requisition, and everything is already converted to PO. So everything is just pending delivery.
Okay, is that out of the 700,000 balance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so continue to encumber, right, Trustee Al? Continue to encumber on the things that you need to really use, okay? That just not out of whims, but you make sure that this is the remaining money will be really totally utilized to everything that is needed by GACS. Yeah, I like that because as you encumber, you convert that to a PO that's locked in. So it's up to the Department of, and I like the fact that you guys are now synchronizing your record as far as like your survey equipments are, okay? So we really have to continue that because Uncle Al is watching and see GDOE, UFDO is watching you whether you guys are talking on your inventories or matching your inventories. Okay, thank you so much, and that's a lot of good reconciliation there. Viva! Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Santiago, I would like to know of that balance that you pointed out. 1 million, did you say? Is that correct?
700,000 more to go.
Yes, 1,100,000 more.
What support are earmarked for the library? I'm very concerned about the library.
That's mostly.
Is there anything there
Mostly using.
that have been submitted in terms of propositions to support the library?
The one for EBSCO, which is the closest to the library resource, is under consolidated grant, ma'am. So for ESF,
Separate money. The separate money. Yeah.
it's a separate money funded by the consolidated, and it's ongoing. So now we are also in the process of evaluating all programs that we're paying for and making sure that they are fully implemented. It's not just that we pay for them 1 year and then we use it for 2 months and then we just forget about it, and then we've been paying for it. So now, because we're trying to maximize all these benefits, we try as much as possible to put in everything under federal grants for the supplies, for the the instructional materials for all the online platforms, distance learning platforms under federal, so that the remaining of the money for local funds will be just for our
Operational.
personal for our payroll and etc. But from the 1.1 million under which is under contracts, there's only like the resources for DI, the reading mastery DI, that is left from that 1.1 million, Miss Lou.
So when you talk about the equipment that have been submitted for purchase, are the security system in place in terms of storing the equipment so we don't lose them?
Yes, definitely. So we just follow the spreadsheet that is given to us because it's equipment. It's considered federal property. So we always submit. It's tagged. Every equipment is tagged, and we submit. I submit the designation of where it will be stored and who's responsible or accountable for every equipment, even with the electronic devices, where they are stored, what room number, and before I send it over to FPD, I have to disseminate the information, show it to Miss HA and to the responsible people, like Miss Trina being the overall has the locks for all the rooms here at on campus.
And who's monitoring that those equipment still exist on our
Yes.
equipment? There's
So we
someone.
have we have an ongoing inventory. So if it's equipment for school devices, like for the students, it's Mr. Mike, which we share as well the inventory list, which is an ongoing spreadsheet. So if it's in and out, we have I have a spreadsheet to monitor and keep track what's sent out to the students or to the teachers. If it's for example the air purifiers which will be coming in, so that inventory is more of the general use of the school staff. It will be Miss Trina being the one in charge.
So who is responsible for spot checking, just to be sure that, there's regular, and ongoing, monitoring to be sure that if the equipment is not there, where is it? Because all of that impact really, the audit process.
Yes, I do that because I have to do random check to match, to make sure that the one I submitted to FBD is matching our ongoing records. So once in a while, I'll pop in and make sure, or I'll ask Mr. Mike, give me a report, and just random checking. I'll go to the room without him knowing. I've been doing that. So that's how we go. We just
Spot check.
random at least, and then we know if it's the number of in and out.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you again.
Okay, please continue, Ms. Ann. Are we done with, you still on the repairs?
No,
Modular.
ARP?
Okay, sorry. We're done with
repairs.
ARP.
That's the Miss HA, ma'am. We're done for
Wait a minute. I wanted to know where we are in the ARP. You finished the ASF. Where are we on the ARP money-wise?
So ARP, it's just a few requisitions that were entered. We just have to put everything under ESF because we got a word from FPB that we have to expend and put in key in all requisitions.
Under
But
ASF.
there are already few requisitions that were entered in under ARP.
Okay, how much money did we get for ARP?
4 million.
4 million. Okay.
Heads up, ma'am. Just to let you know, definitely we won't be able to use right away the ARP because a chunk of it is budgeted for the school buses that I inputted before, because we didn't know that the buses for after school or the summer program will be covered by
Yeah,
we can
backup,
have
yeah.
our own backup. Yes.
Okay,
But
okay. At least,
most
at
likely
least,
we won't be
at
able.
least that is identified on the ARP money that will be utilized for that purpose, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, good thinking. Good
What is
forward
the
thinking.
capacity of the buses? How many students can fit in those buses that you just mentioned?
So how I did it is I called in like the private buses, just as big as the school buses.
Those
Like
are
the
the two
one
buses.
that
Like
the tour
45 to
buses,
60.
yes.
The reason
And I
why,
went by their amount. I went by their quotation just to be sure that we have reserve funds in case we
and the reason why I'm asking is because I'm an advocate of the extension of learning beyond the classroom. I'm talking about field trips. Field trips that are meaningful and are beneficial to the students. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Ann, thank you. I think we have enough capacity. I think that's already determined by Ms. Ann as far as like the capacity of how many students can be accommodated by the buses outside DPW. Any more questions, trustees, on that report on the ASF and ARP? Okay, modular classrooms. Let's go.
Okay, we have just minor repairs on the doorknobs of 2 classrooms, M104 and M108, which is already ongoing. We did have an air condition that had to be repaired. It was no longer, cooling the classroom and everything, so we already took care of it. That was in M108, one of the kindergarten classes, or first grade class. As for the building C, D, and E repairs and partitions, again, we are working with Core Tech, and we're waiting for Core Tech to respond on whether they're going to assist us with doing the renovations of our assistant principal and attendance officer in the backside of the cafeteria and the counselor's office, which we placed them back again in the SSO. So we're putting both counselors in that one, the former isolation room, and we're gonna divide it in half.
Wow, that's pretty small, but it's okay. At least there's a lot of privacy there.
Yes,
Um,
and there's an exit
just
door
go ahead.
on the backside.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
a lot of privacy there. I see that. Small, but it will contain it will be actually, it's actually good because there's a lot of privacy there.
Yes.
So that is currently occupied by, I think Liz is there, right?
No, that's in the other room, ma'am, where the nurse's office used to be. Miss Ann and Miss Liz is there now. Because it was
Yes,
so,
yes,
it was
yes.
so cluttered on the front part of the SSO, so now we have some breathing
Actually, it's
room.
very nice.
When we have parents come in, we're able to
Yeah.
have them sit comfortably instead of being so,
Yes,
crunched
yes,
up and
yes.
standing.
I saw the new setup. It's quite nice. It's
Yes.
really inviting.
Nice
It's really quite
receiving,
inviting.
yes, definitely,
Yeah, very, very nice. Yeah, very nice. Professionally done.
yeah.
Okay,
The other,
why is Cortex stalling on some of the repairs? Because this is a while back, a few months ago.
we need to know whether they're going to be able to handle it because it's their building. And if
Yeah,
not,
but then-
we're prepared to go ahead and pay for
Yeah,
the
but
renovations.
Yeah. But then can you just do that? I know they're very busy. They've been really getting a lot of projects, but we gotta communicate with the Cortex because they have already warned us that any repairs done by us, and it's contrary or it's gonna damage their building is gonna make it liable. So let's do that. I'm worried about because we have some citation from
Yes.
fire. That's on CD&E, and
Yes.
emphasize the fact that that we really need to get that going. Either CFO or Ms. Badet can go ahead and get that going with Cortex, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that Ms. Badet and I had the discussion where we're gonna try to see whether they're gonna be able to incur the cost because it's their building, or, make it as part of our MOA.
No, not quite.
No?
Not quite. They're not part of that, but they already warned us before. When the former CEO was doing a lot of repairs, they didn't quite like that. So
Yeah.
they want to make sure that we run it by them before we do initiate any repair because that
Yes.
building belongs to them. Yeah.
Definitely. And as
Okay.
for, just one more, ma'am, is the nurse's office. We did move the nurse out to M108, and right now, we put in the, request for funding. So we can put the dividers of the students that are sick, it's away from the main area, and it's in the
Yes, sir.
procurement already, it's pending approval
Yes, sir, two.
in the ESF2.
Okay. Is that on the nurse's office?
Yes,
Under yes.
Okay. Yeah, it has to be a clear partition, so,
yes,
if because you have a couple of beds there, just to be able to monitor it
yes,
properly.
Under yes,
Okay.
sir.
okay?
Anything
And the
else?
toilet to be pretty.
And because the toilet got damaged, it was a very tiny toilet, you know, the modular rooms were just basically for the elementary students. So apparently there was a older kid that used the restroom, and the weight, you know, when she sat down, it cracked the bottom. So we went ahead and purchased a toilet, and we're just waiting for our plumber to install that toilet.
Okay. Do we have a plumber? In the
Ms.
campus?
Vedette? No, not on campus. Not
Then
on,
you just call then you just call those professional guys, like go to Oleg or whoever you guys can call to fix that.
We found a farmer that doesn't charge much, so it's coming to home.
Yeah, okay. As long as that becomes functional. Also, I have asked for an assessment of all modular classrooms. Can somebody, who did I commission on that? Because those are like, how many years old now? We got about 3 or 4 years old. Ms. Badel,
older?
we need to get a building assessment of the modular
Okay.
classrooms. Okay, can you get that out and see whether those are worth keeping long range? Because I'm telling you, the more and more the Eagles property is being prepared for the new hospital, the more and more I get excited, because that's next to our property.
Yeah.
That's next to Gag's property, and the plan is for those modular to be moved into the property. So I don't know if that's gonna stand the moving part of, if it can stand moving through those modular homes. They could stand all the moving once we get to the new facility. But can somebody work on that and see whether that's still, if there's any one thing I'm very worried about is the security of the students, right? I know it withstood so many typhoons and what have you, but through the years it could weaken some of the
Mhm.
functionality of that classroom. I don't know.
I know, I can share that the floors are something that we really need to look into to repair, because, you know, from the wear and tear, we can really feel the movement when we're walking around the modular classrooms.
Yes, that's why I need to get it. I need to get it surveyed and look. Not survey is the long word. Get it all
Assessed.
assessed.
Yes.
Because I want to make sure that those are safe. Because the last thing you want to see happen there is for somebody to fall down below that thing
Yes.
and something else, right? I really don't know how strong that building is. But can somebody look into that? I
Yes,
don't know
ma'am.
the process, but maybe you can have that procured.
Yes.
Ask DPW how we can go about it, because we're a component unit of the government. I think we can ask them to do it for us. Okay?
Yes.
We bought that with government money, so they will better give us time to do it. Ask Vincent Ariola if he can help us.
Okay.
Okay, accreditation domain. I'm very excited. And
Yes.
so is Trustee Lou.
So tomorrow,
Go.
so,
Go, CEO.
so tomorrow, we have no classes, and we are meeting to address again ongoing recommendations from our accreditation. So our domain groups are gonna be meeting again, the learning, the leadership, and the resource.
Okay. How are we progressing on accreditation? I saw some email from Ann on I think one lady that is part of the Cognia group. Is that anything we need to be concerned, or do we need to discuss that now, or is that?
No,
I
not,
don't think so.
not at this point, yeah.
Okay.
I know that Anne and the different domain groups are And so later on, perhaps maybe I would like for Anne and maybe the domain leaders to have a work session with us.
Okay.
I know that we really are moving forward with a partnership and with the latest one, or scholarship that will be given to deserving graduating students at the end of this current school year. So that's one of the major moves.
Can you just make sure that the trustee Tanetongo is on the loop on this, because she is the, I think, the vice chair also for this, just to make sure she's on the loop on this. And of course, for us, that would be interesting, because Trustee Lou is following up and locking up some of these new stuff that are coming into GACS. But just make sure on the presentation process that Trustee Tanetongo is also advice on any meeting or minutes of meetings that you guys have to undertake. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else on the accreditation?
So,
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am asking just to make sure they fill me in on my accreditation.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Anything else on the accreditation?
It's just ongoing. But Madam Liu, with the work session, we only have the first and the third Fridays where we don't have classes and we can address and we can actually have everybody present at one time, because it's difficult when they have different preps. And I know that even after school, it's going to be difficult for some to stay back because of other prior obligations, family obligations. So, did you want me to set that work session up for our next?
I kind of like to see where we're at and how much information have we picked up from where we last worked on it, to provide the board an update, and what support really will you be asking of the board to further enhance the work that you all are doing. So we'll discuss that later on, Mrs. Santiago and Mrs. Avila.
Okay.
And plan accordingly to your suggestion. I agree. We shouldn't be taking teachers out of classes to do this. We should be able to accommodate the schedule that is not interfering with classroom teaching and instruction.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, we're done with accreditation. New business. Oh, guys, did you guys get your washing stations?
We received
CEO?
one, ma'am, and we know that there was somehow there was information going back and forth saying that we didn't order enough washing stations. Ms. Rosie was very helpful in making sure that we clarified that and we cleared it. We did order our washing stations, but when GDOE received all the equipment to disperse to all the different schools, apparently there was a mix-up and there was only one that came to GATS. So again, they have to reorder because they don't have any more washing stations for us. And Miss Ann, you can jump in, with this particular situation. And so the last time we spoke about, in order for us to go back 100% 5 days face to face, we know for a fact that because of our population and our buildings, there's no way that we can address the 3 feet, 6 feet social distancing. But because we have other areas that we can address the 3 W's, which is the washing of the hands and wearing the mask, the direction that I got from the board last time was to make sure that we get the washing stations in place. So this is where we're at because we don't have, it hasn't been delivered yet.
But that should install some of the face-to-face concept, because I think the washing stations is something that was provided at the height and at the start of the COVID situation.
Okay.
But we shouldn't base our
Decision?
way of conducting our classrooms. It shouldn't heavily depend on the washing stations.
Okay.
Let's do all of the safety protocol. You guys have tons of alcohol and wipes and all those things that's just there inside somebody's room.
And we
So,
also got
that should be able to at least
stand
take care of some of the issues,
the
right?
automatic.
Yes, ma'am.
I know we only have one or two bathrooms to use for like the washing station, but keep following up on the washing stations because that was already provided for us and was approved by GDOE.
Okay.
But for now, don't use that as a reason why we're not able to do a face-to-face or increase certain
Okay,
um, way of doing our instruction. So
okay,
it becomes a therefore excuse for us not to conduct
okay,
100% face-to-face.
so with the current situation now, with the increase in the numbers of positive cases again, ma'am, I just need some guidance on how do you want us to move forward? Because again, we did our surveys, right, Ms. Ann? With parents of how many people want to still do online, how many people wanna go face to face. But if it's
What was the
with,
result?
Ms. Ann?
What was the result?
Yes, so when we opened in November,
That is favorite part.
we
She's the one.
based it from the data, the survey that the parents filled out, and 60%, about 60% wanted face to face. So from November to December, we opened up, we eliminated the hard copy mode of learning, and we just opened for face to face and online. So slowly through November and December, we've been getting email requests from parents that they wanted to go back to face, even if they chose online, they wanted to go to face, and we've been receiving everyone. Especially, we prioritize the hard copy students. So technically, there's 60% who are face right now, based on parents' preference. But now this January is different because a few of the parents who were already face to face are already expressing concerns that can they switch back to online. So that's where Miss HA, I guess, is coming in. It's different in November and December because DOE announced that they're 100% face to face. So we had that pressure on GACs that we wanna open 100% face to face. But again, now the trend is changing because this January, especially after finding the results 2 days ago, but what I can assure you is that the mode of learning that we're offering our parents is their choice, not.
So this is when I come in and said, start having the council draft a waiver. We should be able to do a waiver for those with options to do face-to-face. And I think the legal counsel should be able to help us and see whether that could be something that could be used for the parents who have agreed to, for those children to go face-to-face. So there are no further liabilities for the charter school. The waivers will have to be expressed by, it has to be signed off by the parents, assuring the parents that we will have all the right protocols and protection for the kids, right? So that's the only way I could do, because otherwise we'll go nuts. Today we're face to face, tomorrow with this. We're never gonna get to the end of it, right? So, and also there's gonna be a timeline on when the face to face should expire until it's terminated by the parent herself, right? And then there's gotta be some leeway. I'm just the other trustees can contribute and then share with me on this one. I think the liability and the extent of liability cannot be all on us, because if you say today I want face to face, tomorrow I don't want, because and I myself as a parent would probably worry like anything else, right? But how do we continue as a charter school? We cannot have the brunt of this on us. So I think the waiver on protecting at least further liability for the charter school to say, oh, well, you guys went face to face, and we don't want our children to go face to face, right? So we have to have some kind of legal approach to this, so we could be protected and not be in the middle of a lawsuit because some parents just did not want to do a certain way or went against certain way on an original option for them to go face to face. Am I clear on that? I think a waiver just to make sure that yes, we will abide by what you say, but however, if you later on or at the discretion of the school, when they see that the COVID situation is really on a certain height, then we have to cancel your request. Trustees, go ahead, Trustee Lou.
The impact of switching from one mode to another has great challenges for the school administration in terms of scheduling, the teacher schedule. I mean,
Exactly.
you can't have teachers doing face-to-face for 5 and the other 25 are online. You can't, I mean, you've got to be a classroom teacher to really understand the major impact and challenges of doing that. So there's got to be some kind of a commitment that we need. I think it's letting parents understand that it just doesn't work that way, that we can switch from day 1 to day 5, that
Yeah.
we want our kids that. We, it's a really challenge for the classroom teachers. And
Yes.
we want to take that into consideration. Yes, we want to be accommodating to the parents as much as possible. I totally agree with that. If it can be done without major impact on the resources, the classroom teachers' role and responsibilities. I mean, the teachers just don't give an instruction for 30 minutes. I mean, they go beyond that. They have to report not in class. They have to report any misbehaviors in the classroom. They have to call parents of kids who are not turning in assignments, or are not doing their project, or are not even listening to the instruction. There are many challenges that teachers have to go through. So please let us also take into consideration. But we want to be accommodating as much as possible if it can be done. But I think that we need to make, excuse me, parents understand what are those challenges if we keep switching back and forth. That's my take.
Ms. Lou, Madam Faye, actually, that really is a good point. I think the parents, how they are, their question is mainly not 100%. When they mean 100% face-to-face, most of the concerns that the parents are asking is, they meant 100% 5 days a week of instruction. Because right now, our platform, to accommodate the parents' preference of online or face-to-face, is considering all the resources, the teacher schedule, and everything, is out the way for us to accommodate the preference of the parents is by having the same teachers teach let's just say 60% of the face-to-face on Mondays and Wednesdays and alternate Fridays. And then the same teachers will teach the online students, 40% of them, on Tuesdays and Thursdays and certain Fridays. So the main question is there a way wherein the school GACs can arrange a schedule wherein there are certain teachers who will be teaching the face-to-face students 5 times a week, and then there are certain teachers who can accommodate the online students 5 times a week.
Okay,
We had
Miss
different options before. Yes.
Okay, Miss Ann, just a minute. I have to kind of like interfere for a while. The council is on by 12 o'clock. We will rise from our regular board to the executive session.
Yes.
If you don't mind, Miss Ann, the council is on time limitation. So can we go and exit out
No,
of our
she left
regular
already.
meeting?
No, she left
She
already.
left.
She's gonna
Proceed
come
to
back at
executive
12:30.
session.
Can you come?
Who's
Unmute
the
me, hold
IT
on.
charge?
Hold on, let me unmute myself. Madam Faye, sorry. The legal counsel left already. She will be back at 12:30.
Oh, okay. Let's go on.
Continue.
Thank you. Continue then. Go ahead, Miss Ann. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. So if I
I
may
messaged her a while ago. Oh no, she's the legal counsel.
plug in as well. As far as I remember, we did consider different options back then, in such a way that teachers won't also be overwhelmed with handling different kinds of mode of learning. And we've reduced from 3 to 2 modes of learning. I think there's a way, which is the hybrid. We can have that in the elementary. The struggle or the challenge is in the middle school and the high school, because not everyone has, we don't have enough teachers for different
Subject
for
areas.
example, algebra 1, geometry, right? So if there's only one teacher in the high school for math, then the only virtual learning. So we have cameras in every single room. That way, the teacher can move around from their in their classroom to look around with the to monitor their face-to-face students. But at the same time, they can be seen. They don't have to bring their laptops like this. I'm moving around and accommodating the teachers. And also, we have other platforms like face to face. So we have ordered all those equipment that possibly like a trial, if that could happen. Um, but we're not close to that option of simultaneous. We just want to update you that we're using all the equipment, electronic equipment that we can use to conduct virtual and simultaneous mode of learning.
Yeah. And I just
And
wanna,
that's fine. Yeah.
and I just wanna add, that, you know, the high school level, the middle school and high school, we have a lot of teachers that are combo teachers. They don't just teach one 8th grade social studies class. They have either a 6th grade social studies or a 7th grade class. So it'll be really difficult to even choose one teacher for that grade level to be the online teacher for everyone else and then to be a face-to-face teacher for the other days. It's difficult unless we hire more teachers to do this type of instructional mode.
Why can we not hire? Because you know it looks like we're really stretching our faculty to the max. The hiring, I think, as far as hiring is concerned, I think we can budget for that and stretch our don't overstretching our. That's exactly what's going to happen. With the current situation right now, we should be able to open, and I will have to ask the accountant if we can possibly hire additional people to fill in the other positions that are being double duty to the other teachers. So it's.
I really appreciate that direction, but unfortunately, because you know the limitation of our buildings, we cannot accommodate, you know, more students to fill those extra positions. Those extra positions will have a lot of extra time if we give them one particular class. At the same time, we don't have enough classrooms to put those new teachers, new positions, to have their own classroom. So we're being very creative at this point with where we're at in this building, and with the population.
Okay, so I cannot see the picture. So
Okay.
you have faculty or teachers that are double duty on teaching other classes, obviously
Particular
some
grade
people
levels,
they-
right?
different grade levels, and then you said the facility becomes an issue because they're not.
We don't have
how
enough-
is it that
We don't have enough classrooms to put the extra teachers. If we are to separate, you know, the students by grade levels, or the teachers by the grade levels. If I'm gonna be a teacher, social studies teacher, just for 6th grade, there's there's probably an overflow of 7th grade students that still need to be taught with social studies. But then that new teacher won't have a full load. I won't be a full-time teacher because I don't have enough students to teach for the whole day. So that's how we became very creative with the position.
That was going to be my question
Yeah.
is, do you not consider hiring part-time teachers just for the online? So then
Okay.
the ones that are face-to-face, are they dedicating all their time to the face-to-face students
Mhm.
versus the online students?
Yeah.
Because if
That's an idea.
back in December, you're talking about 60% face-to-face and 40% are online.
Mhm.
If you could just hire part-time to deal with the online, that way it will really actually help the teachers,
That's that good direction.
the stress level. Because the online base is full-time. The online don't need full-time.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so please look into that.
Yes, ma'am.
Matt, I guess, and the members of the board would be willing to support that.
Okay.
Yes. Because
Okay.
this was just brought about to us. We didn't realize that really have some constraint on the mode of study that we're introducing to gangs. So, yeah, and I think Trusted Luhan had just
Great
ordered
idea.
that
Yeah.
information. Yeah, because you know,
Yeah.
those gangs in the classroom.
Give us the data on what are the courses and,
Yes.
what's there.
We need
The
that.
sooner you do that and get to us, the more, the faster action will be, particularly in terms of planning for the new school year.
Okay.
Exactly. I think it's very important. I mean, those online instructors doesn't have to be on site. So, but
Yeah.
they have the students there that can be from this class to that class with a different instructor. Oh my God, what a beautiful suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can we get some detail on that, CEO, so we can really see
Yes, ma'am.
how much of the virtual instructors do we will be required by GACS to fill in those positions that are double duty teachers right now?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Padet, where are we now?
Uniform contract.
On the agenda, any more on the CEO?
The uniform contract, I know that the PTO met with one of the companies, and it was just getting information because I know that they need to advertise this as a whole, where all the different companies can come in and do their presentation, and then the PTO will select which company will be our uniform company for next school year.
Okay, so there's no selection yet so far?
No.
Is that correct?
No.
Okay. Very good, thank you. I wanna make sure that, I want the board of trustees to know that this is off our hand. The PTO, as we have, and trustee, Al can chime in, is an independent body from the charter school. Whatever commitment they make in their behalf is their commitment. We don't wanna be dragged into contracting or obligations in the future. This is the reason why revenue and taxation have required them to have their own documentations. That's why we cannot be privy to the decisions that they make, because that's exactly what it is. They can run it by us.
I'd like to address this to Ms. H. What's the status of the PTO policies and procedures, financial statements? What's the updates? Have they addressed like say for example, have they addressed the articles? Because it's already January, and have we done anything accomplished or anything besides giving out the award to Mr. Eblock?
That's not even complete. Yeah, complete, sir. I know that Mr. Mori, who is also the PTO officer, he has tried his best to try to get the rest of the PTO officers to get together to address all those concerns that you brought up. As for Mr. Eblock's son's scholarship, they did their part, but unfortunately our uniform company, who agreed to provide the other half of the scholarship, has not followed through yet.
Okay. I'd like to have a meeting with them. Is there a way where we can have a meeting with all the PTO?
Yes, sir?
One meeting.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. Let's close everything out and let's address the audit finding. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Because, I like to have the articles of what do you call that, for the PTO, and at least the financial should be easy. There's not much to balance.
Okay.
Am I correct, Ms. B?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's all the question I have.
I will get back to you next week, sir, to schedule that meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Finger, CEO, you have the uniform already covered?
Yes.
Okay,
The pocket group class, because of the resignation of the DI coordinator, I was able to come up with a plan B where we had a pocket group teacher who is one of the most veteran and trained teacher on board on DI. I've had her, Ms. Indolatio, step up, detailed to this position, and with the students that are in the pocket group, these are the very, very low level students, we're able to transition them into their regular classes with the assistance of also assigning TAs to help the teachers. This has really been something positive with the direction that we're taking, because since we also opened up and implemented our ESL program with our teacher, we are really giving the right services to our students who are second language students. And, in the past, we were just putting them in the pocket group, and the pocket group is only addressing the DI program, but it wasn't really addressing their second language issues of comprehending the language itself. In DI, I know everyone's familiar is that we repeat. The teacher says something, then the students repeat, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the students comprehend what they're repeating. So with the ESL program, we are really, going into one-to-one. We have an ESL aide that's assisting our teacher, and so that really decreases the number of students in the pocket groups too. So with that particular class, we dissolved it. The students are now transitioned into their grade level classes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Because it has been in the past not able to really monitor what's going on with this. It looks like there were some complaints that there were supposed to be promotions, but it's not happening because that was not attended to for some reason. But thank you, CEO, that we're moving forward in addressing this issue.
Yes.
And you have a full-time ESL teacher now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, finally. My
Yes.
goodness. Okay, let's go to the most exciting allied health,
Yes.
allied nursing program. Is that what is said on your on the what is that platform that we're using?
Our CTE.
Yeah, our CTE under what's the platform that we're using? The one that the one that we have modules galore on CTE. Ingenuity. Okay.
Ingenuity.
Is this one in this whole allied nursing program?
Yeah.
Don't call it any other name, because if it's Ingenuity have called it something else, you gotta align it with it. What is it called?
I think it is the allied nursing. Miss Ann, can you just jump in, please? And
Just make sure
Yeah.
because the nursing assistant, the GP, the one board of nurse examiner might question this program. This is the reason why I don't want you guys flagging this if this is not an approved one board of nurse examiner. If it is just against the Ingenuity protocol or module, I'm fine with that. We have to be very careful, because you know that you have to go with a one board of nurse examiner to approve certain program, and because if our desire is for them
I was gonna call you.
to get their feet wet into getting this program, we gotta align this with Ingenuity module. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we clear on that?
Yes, ma'am.
You just cannot call it allied nursing program if the Ingenuity does not have such thing. Then the one board will say, what are you guys talking about? Right?
Yes.
Okay, let's be
Makes sense, but just for the name, thank you, Mr. D. The course that is offered in Ingenuity is called the Allied Health course.
Oh, that's okay. That's
So
okay.
it's still under.
Allied health
Okay.
course.
We're still aligned. Okay. And then the allied health course could be on this nursing and something else? Not really?
Yes, it also addresses, like, we can go ahead and get our students trained with CPR, with first aid, and we're very,
Just make sure aligned with Ingenuity, so there's no, and I
No
think
questions?
there's nurse Spida, what's her name?
Zandra.
Sandra knows that it's a little bit sensitive when it comes to the one board of nurse examiner. That's why I think one school was not able to carry on in this, because you truly have to go to the board. But
Okay.
if this is something that we're doing in the Ingenuity platform, we're safe. We're okay.
Yes.
Okay then.
Yes,
That's
and just to let you know, ma'am, and everyone else, that the students are very excited. Miss Zandra is very excited. She has 2 face-to-face classes, and she has 2 online classes, and is addressing the juniors and the seniors.
Yeah, okay, wonderful, thank you,
Yeah.
that's good, at least if we can get that completed, that would be they could actually be out, once they go out of high school, that could be something that the employers can look into, that they have some sort of allied health training in high school. Wonderful. Thank you, that's wonderful, thank you, Ms. Sandra too. Okay, Esther, HR chair, Ms. Rosie? Oh, who's the HR? Miss Lou, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, that's correct, Miss Lou.
Go ahead, Miss Lou. Just Lou, you're on mute. It's unmute. Yeah, go ahead. You're still unmute.
She's getting there. Can you
Can I
unmute
hear
her?
you?
There you go.
Yeah,
There.
yeah.
I think we have had more than sufficient time to review the organizational chart as well as the functional chart, and I think we should proceed in approving the functional chart.
It's not presented.
Because we've had more than enough time to have gone through it, unless somebody feels they need additional time.
I'm okay with that, except that I know that there are certain responsibilities. Specifically, I would like to be able to specifically expand the functional chart on Miss Anne Santiago, because there are collateral duties that was not explained on the functional chart, that she's currently doing that prior to the former CEO. That has to be incorporated, so there are no confusion on the line of responsibility when it comes to what she does and what the CEO does on the other side, right? Because there's a business side of Ms. Santiago that she's doing that is not explained on her current functional chart. So I would like to put a some sort of like hold on approving the functional chart until that is incorporated. I think you guys are given a copy. Ms. Badette, did we give a copy, or Ms. Ann, did we give a copy of the direction where we want to be able to clarify the additional collateral duty that is given onto your position as the program coordinator, and also included, and I think this is from former CEO, the accountability something officer as well. So which mandates under her responsibility certain programs, certain duties that has something to do with a lot of the federal funding and more. Did we get a copy of that, Ms. Badette, to all the board?
No,
No, not yet.
not yet.
Can we get that? That's why I would like to defer the
Okay,
motion.
I can. You want me to present it, Madam Faye, in the screen?
Can you go ahead and present that in as much as
You wanna share your screen?
it also has something to do with a lot of the financial part of the operation. Go ahead, if you can have the floor, Ms. Badette. Ms. Badette, go ahead, please. Ms. Badette? Okay,
Yes,
there you go.
Madam, can you see my screen?
Very small. We can enlarge it.
You have to zoom so that it's only one page. Okay. Press control or zoom forward. Page one.
One page.
Closer, closer.
On the view,
Press control.
you can change to one page or normal page.
We just get some water, guys. Go ahead.
View.
Remove. Okay. This is the program and accountability coordinator responsibility. The function. So you can start reading it and if you want to.
So this is what the former CEO asked of me before she moved me up to this position. So again, he was doing this audit as well during that time. So I gave all the responsibilities, and she had me include all these, especially for the CNP, the Child Nutrition Program. So I have the data as well, or I collaborate with, I just had to change CEO to COO as agreed principal, assistant principal, DI coordinator, or curriculum coordinator, the accreditation coordinators, and the student SS personnel, accountant for the purpose of implementing and maintaining programs and services which are curricular or extracurricular programs. And then basically research and obtain materials and supplies and resources that will be needed for successful monitoring of school programs. This was indicated because before what she wanted is to make sure that we just don't acquire programs and implement it for the first month or 2 months and then not be able to follow through. It has happened already. We discovered a few programs that we have been paying for renewing the subscription, but actually there's no monitoring system as to how it's implemented. And it's a waste because we just acquire it, we pay for it, but we don't know who monitors and implements the program. It has happened too that the program itself, the vendor is asking, we don't see your activity in this program, and they monitor that, just like Redwood, they have to see it. So that's the main reason why that particular function was included in the position. Also monitors demographic data and other pertinent information for the purpose of providing up-to-date reference and complying with federal funding guidelines and requirements. This is also in line with Mr. Arquiza's interview with me, just to make sure that the data that we share or we submit to FTE are abiding with the requirements. And then contains a variety of manual and electronic files to be keep record of that using Renweb, of course, and then also the surveys and keeping track of the assessment data of the students. Those are the main ones. But she also had me include to train staff when it comes to the programs that we're going to implement, be able to have one system only. I think that's basically it. And especially for the CNP program,
There's nothing on mute, please.
so one last but not the least, we've been trying to apply for child nutrition program, and we've never been we never had the chance to even submit the application because we are not qualified. There are certain requirements. Before when the school was applying, under I believe the principal back then or the deans, the requirement for a food school administrator is a bachelor's degree, and none. Unfortunately, Miss Liz, who is the who's in charge of the food, the meals that time, does not have that, and so that's when Dr. Wantat, the former CEO, asked me to step up and be the assigned designee for as the school school food administrator. So just because usually in other schools, in bigger schools, there's only one, and that's the one position or one title of the food school administrator. But having a small school, it's like more of, I'm a program coordinator. In that specific program, I'm the administrator for CNP, just like double duty, because it's such a small school.
Collateral.
Yeah, collateral duty. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
With that being said, this is the reason why at Trust to Do we would like to defer on the approval of the functional chart, just to make sure that this is recognized and incorporated, because there's nobody doing this right now actually, and currently the situation is we don't even have an assistant principal and a CEO to carry on the rest of the bigger responsibility. And this is aligned with what Ms. Anne is doing right now. So if Ms. Anne, are you done? Is this all that we need to kind of like expand on the functional chart?
Yes,
On the
ma'am.
functional chart under
Actually,
your...
yes, all the functions are already in place. It's just the main position that we have to somehow
Correct.
it's your upon approval because there's currently two program coordinators in the functional chart. One is Miss Liz, who is responsible. She's under the CNP program. She's the determining official. So she determines who's qualified or not qualified. And the other one is mine, which is program coordinator. So it's just like a kind of mix up of which is which program coordinator. So basically, it's just the position that has to be changed upon your approval. It's just to distinguish.
No, what was Liz's position before? I don't think she was a program coordinator. There was only one program coordinator that I knew we approved on this 2021 and 22 organizational chart. Her position wasn't a program coordinator. Ms. Padet, can you chime in? I know she was some.
Food
It
and
wasn't
federal
something.
nutrition, child nutrition,
Child nutrition program.
yeah.
Wait.
Child nutrition.
That begs more to become a program coordinator begs more qualification, because Ms. Liz had always been in charge of the food program, but it is the meals program comes daily. The listing, the coordination with the food vendor, etc. To become a program coordinator is a little higher in all of the government positions.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is that degree?
when did that happen? When did that happen?
May you allow me
Only
for that? I believe Ms. Padet just confirmed with me is that when the former CEO was trying to do the different categories like teacher 1, teacher 2, just for the pay
Salary scale.
that's when they opened up like the program coordinator 1, program coordinator 2, program coordinator 3. Not realizing that we adopted the position or the step level, I guess,
But not
as
the
a position,
qualifications.
which that was supposedly just to identify that should program coordinator 1 decides to move up, then you can go to program coordinator 2, then program coordinator 3. So that's when it all started, but the original position open during that time is child and nutrition something for Miss Liz.
okay, that needs to be corrected. I'm sorry. HR Chair, can we address that, because you guys are all former government employees. You know, the program coordinator is a much higher position,
Mm-hmm.
as I see it
The
fit,
qualifications
more
too.
more for different responsibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that needs to be. I did not see a child nutrition something on the position. I do not see also two program coordinators in our organizational chart, unless my eyes are deceiving me. But that program coordinator cannot be on the list on that category. I'm very sorry. It requires more responsibility, and I think it requires even a degree to be a program coordinator, and also the familiarity with the federal programs, etc. It's a much higher category. Chime in, Trustee Al, please.
Unmute now.
As far as what I'm listening carefully, I would like to address the keyword monitoring from Ms. Lu and from you. And this reflects on the program coordinator. The biggest flaw right now is the word monitoring. I don't see, is have you guys did document all your monitoring? Because that's the biggest flaw from the beginning of GATS when they receive federal, and that's also the finding of GDOE monitoring of all program coordinators. So my question is, if I were to ask you, can I see your documentation or anything regarding your monitoring? What have you accomplished? Are you ready to provide that? Because they're gonna ask that sometime down the road, please. Can you answer that question?
So,
Everybody involved.
but that really points down to the responsibility. Is that something that the other program coordinator is doing? So it just limits it to the food, to the meal area and nothing more. I don't think it went beyond the other things that is required of a program coordinator. If you look at the program coordinator position with the government of Guam, it entails more responsibility other just that's one specific meal program, right? So I think we need to correct that. That's all where I'm coming from. It's I don't think it would be we really have to correct that.
Yeah.
You can't give it to just anybody because that will require for us a financial responsibility later on because that could be questioned. That you
Okay.
have two program coordinators on what and what.
Right.
So,
Ma'am, with all due respect, the federal guidelines, Edgar, will state that any program coordinator who handles any federal funds, what are the monitoring procedures, and is it documented? That's the question they're gonna ask. Anyone that handles the federal programs, anything as a subject of federal funds, they're gonna ask that. Believe me. That's all.
And
Thank you.
I believe we submitted at one point in time Miss Ann's name to be federally funded on her salary as well. So that
Yeah.
really compromises the other position. So we need to correct that as soon as we can do it. Please, HR chair, chime in, please.
Yes, we will work with it, Mrs. Avila and Mrs.
Yes, ma'am.
Santiago.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give you some suggested dates and times to work on this, so we can get this out of the way, because I think, like, we must be sure that the functional chart is in line with the organizational chart, and that is reflective in the submission of our budget for fiscal year 23, as we prepare for the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll be in communications with you later.
Thank you, HR chair. We need to correct that because there's really, thank God that we're just putting this up right now. And hopefully we can finalize this. Budget has been submitted and it's still subject to correction as far as like the functional chart. We only submitted the org chart, but we need to review them once and for all and see if we can correct where we have actually erred on the position. Right, Madam Chair?
Yeah,
Madam HR Chair?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just one note, Mrs. Santiago, on what was presented. If we could align the word extracurricular with the accreditation, can you change that to co-curricular?
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, moving on. What's the next topic on the agenda? Legal counsel is on. Yes, the legal counsel. Is the legal counsel on already?
Yes, she's waiting.
Okay, sorry.
I am here.
Happy New Year. Wow. Yes, ma'am. We should be able to get out of the regular board session. Ladies and gentlemen, the IT people get us out of our regular board. We're going to exit and go to executive session.
We're not addressing the finance?
No,
Wait, no,
Yeah.
later on.
Go back.
Miss,
Okay, one
who
moment.
needs to be excused? Jamie? Miss Burdette? Okay.
Hold on. End stream.
Okay, this will only strictly for the board of trustees. Thank
Okay.
you.
Then we will
Rosa,
come.
Trustee Rosa, are you there?
So I leave?
Yes.
There you